and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're discussing a truly monumental and unsettling development. Just last night, the United States military directly intervened in the escalating war between Israel and Iran. President Trump announced a series of powerful strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, boldly declaring it a historic moment for America, Israel, and the world. But what exactly happened, and what are the profound implications for us, for our country, and for the already volatile Middle East? The U.S. military launched concerted attacks on three critical Iranian nuclear sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. President Trump asserted in his address that these key Iranian nuclear facilities were completely and fully obliterated by the American strikes. This decisive action followed more than a week of intense Israeli airstrikes against Iran, which aimed to systematically dismantle the country's air defenses and offensive missile capabilities, while also damaging its nuclear enrichment facilities. Israeli military officials claim they've already taken out more than 50% of Iran's missile launchers, making it harder for them to fire towards Israel. However, Israel specifically appealed to the U.S. for its unique capabilities to target Fordo, a deeply buried uranium enrichment facility considered out of reach to all but America's most potent bunker buster bombs. The 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, delivered exclusively by the B-2 stealth bomber, which operates from bases in Missouri, was reportedly used in this unprecedented operation. Fox News reported that 6 bunker buster bombs were dropped on Fordo, while 30 Tomahawk missiles from U.S. submarines struck Natanz and Esfahan. It was the first combat use of this specific weapon. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, confirmed the attacks but noted there was no increase in off-site radiation levels, indicating limited contamination outside the immediate blast sites, even though Fordo is known to be producing highly enriched uranium. Despite President Trump's strong claims of obliteration, Iran maintains that the damage inflicted was less severe and that critical materials had been safely relocated before the bombings. The human toll of this intensifying conflict is already tragically high. A Washington-based group, human rights activists, reports that Israeli strikes alone have killed at least 865 people in Iran and wounded over 3,396 others, including 363 civilians and 215 security force personnel. Iran has historically minimized its casualty figures and has not offered regular death tolls during this conflict. In retaliation, Iran has fired over 450 missiles and 1,000 drones at Israel, according to Israeli army estimates. While Israel's advanced air defenses have intercepted most of these, at least 24 people in Israel have been killed and over 1,000 wounded. Earlier this morning, 3 areas of Israel, including coastal hub Tel Aviv, were hit by Iranian missile attacks, injuring at least 23 people. Buildings in Ramat Aviv, Tel Aviv, were heavily damaged, and a public square in Haifa was strewn with rubble. Immediately following the U.S. strikes, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi condemned the action, calling it a grave crime that crossed a very big red line. He warned of everlasting consequences and affirmed that Iran reserves all options to retaliate against U.S. military aggression. Araghchi also emphasized that Iran had no interest in negotiating with the U.S. while Israel continued its attacks, stating that the U.S. had betrayed diplomacy. The Atomic Energy Organization of Iran confirmed the attacks, but insisted that their nuclear work would not be halted. Amidst the chaos, some reports indicate thousands are fleeing Tehran, and a nationwide internet shutdown has complicated the flow of information for several days. This direct U.S. intervention carries immense and immediate risks. The Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen have threatened to resume their attacks on U.S. vessels and warships in the Red Sea if the Trump administration joins Israel's military campaign, reversing a previous pause achieved through a deal with the United States. This could significantly impact American naval operations and disrupt vital global shipping lanes, including the Strait of Hormuz and potentially the Suez Canal via Bab al-Mandab, which handles a significant portion of global energy exports and trade. International alarm is widespread, with the UN Secretary General expressing grave concern and warning that the conflict could rapidly spiral out of control, leading to catastrophic global consequences for civilians and the region. Turkey has also voiced similar fears, stating that the ongoing developments could escalate the conflict to a global level. Commercial air travel across the Middle East has been severely disrupted, forcing airlines to adopt longer and more expensive flight routes to avoid the airspace over Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Israel. Out of an abundance of caution, additional U.S. embassy staff have been moved out of Iraq due to heightened regional tensions. And Iraq itself fears becoming a battleground for proxy conflicts. The Iraqi government has formally complained to the UN Security Council, urging the U.S. to prevent Israeli overflights of its territory, as U.S. strategic interests often override Iraqi's airspace sovereignty. Even within President Trump's own administration, there are reported divisions over this path. Vice President J.D. Vance reportedly pushed back against direct U.S. involvement in a tense phone call with Israeli leaders, cautioning that Israel could inadvertently drag the United States into a prolonged and costly war. A White House official, however, disputed this characterization of Vance's comments. Other influential Republicans, such as Senator Lindsey Graham, have publicly supported assisting Israel in what they view as a necessary step to permanently dismantle Iran's nuclear program. This raises a crucial question. Will this truly be the one-and-done operation President Trump desires, or the beginning of another endless war in the Middle East? Many experts fear that a direct attack on Iranian sovereign territory will only compel Iran, which U.S. intelligence previously assessed was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon, to now accelerate its efforts to build one as a deterrent. Historical precedents from U.S. interventions in Iraq and Libya offer stark warnings, demonstrating how such actions can lead to prolonged instability, unintended consequences, and the emergence of new threats, ultimately undermining American interests and influence. A protracted war would undoubtedly drain American resources, potentially costing billions of dollars, and divert crucial focus from other pressing global priorities, including strategic competition with China. Some analysts warn that if this conflict goes badly, American Jews could be unfairly targeted or scapegoated due to President Trump's public emphasis on the close U.S.-Israel partnership. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has stated Iran will never renounce its right to nuclear power. Iran's decision to enrich uranium up to 60%, a short technical step from weapons grade, came after Trump withdrew the U.S. from the 2015 nuclear deal during his first term. The Israelis, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, were pushing for swift action and did not want to wait for Trump's proposed 2-week deadline for intervention. This is a profoundly complex and rapidly evolving situation, with the stakes incredibly high for America and the world. Whether this bold move ultimately leads to a lasting peace or a wider, long-term conflict remains to be seen. It's vital to stay informed as events unfold. Thank you for watching and for your continued support. We'll be here to bring you the latest developments. Take care.